Hey guys, I'm coming at you with my macro deck profile. Kind of a retro deck, non-competitive, of course. Made it a couple years ago. There's actually a video post on my old channel. I might link that in the description just for fun. But I pretty much just pulled it out and updated it for the format. Haven't really been playtesting it like I usually do on Dueling Network, mostly just to play around, have a little fun. But let's get into it. Alright, so the first card I have is 3 Caius. Pretty much a necessity for macro, remove anything. 24 beater, just really good. Next I have 2 DD Scout Plane. Back in the day I ran 3. 3 is cloggy, I like 2 because I'm not running straight up macro Monarchs. Just the 3 Monarchs and the 2 planes. And it's nice because they can clog the field, but I can just go into Gachi, which is fine. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Then I run 3 Assailant. I was debating between 3 Assailant or 3 Warrior Lady. I decided to go 3 Assailant because 1700 is, basically in this format it's approaching a beater. Really powerful, and yeah, it has to be destroyed by a battle to get its effect. But I can just attack innocently and take some points. That's not really a big deal. And I still do run 2 Warrior Ladies, which is obviously an amazing card. And yeah, you might be thinking like, oh, well, it only removes itself and the opponent's monster. But if I'm trying to keep things out of grave while I'm waiting for a Cosmos or a D-Fissure, it is really helpful. People hesitate to attack into it. Then I'm running 2 Banisher of the Radiance. Which is basically a necessity. I mean, it's got 1600 attack, which is pretty nice in this format. You can attack over a lot, especially as long as I'm face down D. I don't really hesitate to attack over it. And any card that would go to the graveyard is removed from play instead, which I really like. I like this more than the one it's like 0 attack, 2000 defense or something with the same effect. I like the attack power more, and I like the level 3. So I'll talk about as well. Then I've got 2 Grenmaju Deiza. This is kind of controversial for macro. I mean, yeah, a lot of people play it, but a lot of people think it's too situational. But I think you can't not play it. Gains 400 attack for every one of your own cards that have removed from play. So basically, I just need like 1 Soul Release to go off, and it's a 2000 beater. And you can get really high, like many thousand attack, and it helps this deck go off, helps OTK actually out of this deck, which is really weird. Then I run 2 Helios the Primordial Sun. I don't want to see any comments criticizing this, because this card works so well in the deck, just because it allows for Exceeds really nicely. I just go Macrocosmos, special summon this, normal, an Assailant or something, I can just go into a rank 4 from there. Then I have 1 Bazoo. I do Exceed a little bit out of this deck, and since, to my knowledge, Exceed materials still go to the grave even with Macrocosmos on the field, because they're weird like that. This helps just push them to be removed, and it can become a 25 beater, which is just amazing. Then I have 1 Scanner. I'm unsure about this card, but I do like it. Basically, if you don't know what it does, once per turn, it becomes the level, attribute, and attack and defense of one of your opponent's removed from play monsters. Which means I've gone like Caius to remove BLS and then copy it with Scanner and then push for game. It doesn't gain the effect, which is really unfortunate because it would be so broken. But it still works really nicely. So that's all the monsters. Then I have 3 Chaos Greed. When you have 4 or more cards removed from play and no cards in your graveyard, you can draw 2 cards. So it's a +1. The conditions are pretty easy to get in the first couple turns. I just really like it. Then I have 2 Soul Release, clears the grave for Chaos Greed. 1 DDR, I used to run 2. This is basically your Reborn for remove from play cards, but you have to discard 1, which is why I only run 1 now. 1 Grand Convergence. This is kind of my own tech. if you control Macro Cosmos and inflict 300 damage to your opponent and destroy all monsters on the field. I still run Dark Hole, and I only run 1 because it's a little situational, but I do have Cosmos on the field a lot, almost the entire game, the entire game if the game goes well. And it is chainable, so they go MST, you chain this, they lose all their monsters in their turn, and yeah, you lose your Cosmos, but makes them go minus, punishes them for targeting your macros. 1 D-Fisher, just 1 because Cosmos is better when I'm going for Chaos Greeds. But, it is a little faster, which I like. 1 Foolish, which is just excellent to get anything out I want if I want a DDR into like a Caius or something, just for some beating power. Then a Heavy and a Dark Hole staples, obviously no Reborn. Something I forgot to mention, I don't play Sanyan in the monsters, because it has to activate in the Grieve, which is obvious. And I don't run guides because I don't have them. I don't really like them all that much, but I would run probably 2 if I had them. Like I said, this is just for fun, not really competitive, so doesn't really matter. Then I've got the 3 macro, best card in the deck, obviously gets out of Helios and removes all cards that would be sent to the graveyard. Triple Compulse, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I will probably main this every deck I make this format because it's so good. 2 DD Dynamite, this is another of my own tech cards here. You inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each of their cards removed from play. It is chainable, which is amazing, and I've hit them for game off of 1 of these before, which is just incredible. 2 is nice, 3 is too cloggy. And I have 2 Dark Bribes just to protect my my Cosmos. I don't run more than that, and I don't run Judgment because I have to protect my life points in this, because it is kind of slow. And I really like Dark Bribe. Yeah, your opponent draws 1, but in my opinion, it's really just a neutral. It's not really a +1 for them because they've lost their Heavy, or they've lost whatever card they're going to play. And I still really like it. Then of course 1 return from DD. Dimension Fusion were legal, this card or this deck would be legit, but Return from DD still plays really well. I'll just grab like 2 Grand Majus and some other stuff. If I can't push for game, overlay for like Zenmain's main phase 2 so I don't lose them, which is really nice. So then let's quickly go on to the extra deck. 2 Gachi just for scout planes, unclogs the field, and they keep coming back if I remove them with Bazoo, so it's really nice. Then Zenmain's, Leviathan, I don't really make these ever. Utopia I never make, Pearl I never make, Excalibur, that's something I'll do with Return from DD. I'll grab like 2 Warrior Ladies or 2 Assailants, make an Excalibur, try to push for game from there, which is really nice. I used to run 3 Scout Planes with Dark Mist, but I took out one of the Scout Planes, and I think it just makes it a lot more consistent. Couple things I want to talk about quickly with this deck is I don't run Torrential in here, which is might strike people as odd, but I just really feel like I can't afford to give up any monster advantage I might have on the field. Even if they go minus, I really can't afford that, and I'm just put into like too many awkward situations trying to figure out whether or not I should play it. So I don't. And I do kind of auto-lose to heroes with this, which is basically why I'd never play it competitively. Mostly because they go into Shining, I lose, because their beater's bigger than my beater. I mean, yeah, Grand Majou can attack over it, but then they just recycle any, like a Stratos and a Bubble Man, go into Excalibur next turn. Just a lot of problems come up with it. I don't ever really beat them. But I do destroy agents, because they play out of grave, they love hand traps, and so from there, I'm pretty much guaranteed the win. So that's kind of my take on this. Handles the meta pretty well as like a casual competitive deck, or a non-competitive deck. So leave me a comment, tell me what you think, and rate, subscribe. Thanks guys.